My name's Shailagh Clarke, and I am a licensed psychologist in private practice, and as Anjanette mentioned, one of the board members of Strong Family Alliance. And when I was approached about the mission to help kids who are LGBTQ through helping their parents be more loving and supportive and accepting, it fit perfectly with what I do and my values, because I, throughout my training and career, have sort of flip-flopped between settings where I work with adults and settings where I work with kids. And eventually what emerged is a passion for working with parents, because I believe that parents are one of the most powerful force and factor in a child's life. And so as I would be working with children, I would feel a real pull to have a session with the parent, because much of the change that needed to happen with this child needed to come through the parents' actions and behaviors and that relationship. So what do I do with these parents? I end up talking about how who they are and what they bring into their parenting relationship affects their children. And we all are born with certain temperaments, and we have certain experiences that form who we are, and then we bring that into our parenting relationships. And without even knowing, sometimes we are affecting our children in certain ways that we may not even want to. And I'm not talking about the direct teaching we do or the care that we give them that is more tangible, but in what we model for them or how we respond in certain moments helps our children shape their identity. So as I work with parents of cisgender or hetero kids, I'm also helping parents understand, how did what you just said in that moment affect your relationship with your child or affect your child's thoughts about him or herself? So what I always recommend is for parents to slow down, be curious, step back a little bit. Don't lead with direction and worry or blame or your own reactions, but to hold those reactions and try to understand where your child is coming from. That is even more important, I think, with parents of kids who are LGBTQ, because as a child is forming the identity of who am I and what do I feel and think and believe, a parent can be very tempted to say, no, don't do that, don't believe that, don't feel that. And that is something we've all experienced in the world, and it's difficult. For kids who are LGBTQ, even more so, because the world is telling them they are different. Our society is telling them that they don't quite fit in the same way as the cisgender hetero kids. And so even more important at home for parents to be curious, loving, neutral, and supportive, no matter what their own reactions may be. And we are all in this as parents, whether we have a child who is LGBTQ or not. Our child can come to us and say something that we have a strong reaction to that we don't even know why, and we lead with, no, you should do that, or hey, you need to worry more about this, or hey, no, don't feel that way about that. And it's coming from our own sense of self, our own experiences, and our own history. That's what I want parents to watch, and we all do it, and no one's perfect, but with kids who are forming their own identity about who do I love, who am I sexually attracted to, what is my gender identity, it is so tenuous and it is so fragile for those kids. They need a mirror in their parent that is loving and affirming and accepting. So maybe the parent doesn't know yet who that child will turn out to be, but that's okay, because the message should be, whoever you are and whoever you turn out to be, I don't know that, but I love you. And that is really hard for parents. They have ideas about where they want their kids to end up in life. And part of sort of moving into why therapy might even be more important for families in these situations, parents even who claim beliefs that are affirming of LGBTQ may actually be going through a grieving process that they did not expect. I 100% support my child and believe that they have a right to love whomever they want to, and now I have to redo my ideas of where my child will end up. I thought I had a boy. I don't. I thought I had a kid who would get married to a woman. I don't know if I do anymore. And so we are reshaping experience that we thought our kids would have. And they may not, but that's okay. So therapy is a place for parents to process some of that, and a place for kids to process in a neutral place. How do I feel? What's going on for me? A therapist is not going to be like a parent and have specific ideas about where that kid should go and what they should do and how they should feel. So it's a really safe place. I love what Jessica said about not telling somebody else who they are. And I think that's one of the hardest things for a parent to do, is to stop themselves from saying, wait, that's not who you are. You're a blah, blah kind of kid. You're this kid. You're that kid. I know you. Yeah, you do know your child, and we have to be open to other pieces. So not telling somebody else who their identity is one of the biggest pieces, I think. And the other piece is empathy. So I'll go back to what Jo Ivester did with her writing. She put herself 100% into her son's shoes about that bridesmaid dress. And how hard is that, to put yourself 100% into somebody else's shoes and imagine their feelings and their experience? That's what we're kind of asking parents to do. So a parent who comes in with religious beliefs that sort of create worry and fear and distress. Oh, my child is gay. What do I believe about that? What does my church community believe about that? Hold that, process that elsewhere. It's valid. And with your child, put yourself in your child's shoes. What do they need to hear? What mirror do they need you to be? They need you to be the mirror that says, you're perfect the way you are. I love you. God loves you. You do not need to change who you are. That is the support that kids need, and is very related to health outcomes for LGBTQ kids. They are more at risk for depression, suicide, if the parents or family are cutting them off, if they are not supportive and accepting. So it becomes not just good parenting practice, it becomes life and death for these kids. So that was extremely motivating to me, and kind of how I found myself involved.